Good afternoon. I did my report over the Mattel toy company, which I found several unethical happenings that had occurred in their company. My sister and I grew up playing with the toys that were manufactured under the Mattel umbrella. They included names such as Hot Wheels. As you can see, I had an extensive collection of well over 200 Hot Wheels. It also included toys like Fisher-Price, which were a part of my everyday childhood, including my sister's childhood, and more modern games such as Apples to Apples. My sister played with toys such as Polly Pockets, Barbies, and Cabbage Patch dolls, and some of the higher end brands such as the American Girl doll collection, which has also had recalls. We had no idea what was involved in the production of these toys. Recently, I found out that Mattel owns factories in China, as most companies do now. Most of the toys they have and still make were made in these factories. Over half of the Mattel toys are made in China, approximately 65%. The other 35% is made in various countries which have not had as many violations. Unfortunately, Mattel has accrued some not so enticing skeletons in its manufacturing closet. One of the areas that has come to the public's attention has to do with the living conditions for the Mattel plant workers. Most of the employees are women. They have moved into the manufacturing towns and find work. A lot of them live in dormitories that are owned by Mattel. Undercover watchdog companies have found the living conditions to be less than desirable. It has been reported by China Labor Watch and others that as many as 12 people may live in a single room. These rooms consist of bunk beds, and the people are usually confined to these spaces in a very uncomfortable manner. There can be over 100 people on one floor in these so-called dormitories, who usually have to share only a couple of bathrooms. In most instances, there is no climate control, and as far as the bathroom facilities go, they are less than usable. The people who choose to live in these dorms must pay for them, and utilities are usually extra. The working conditions at the plants are also undesirable. From the hot, sweaty buildings and the dark rooms where they work endlessly, wages are very low, and a weekly or hourly salary usually won't cover for the basic needs. So, the workers are forced out of need to work and overtime that has to exceed the limit of 36 hours. A typical day is usually 11 and a half hours, which is much more than that of the US, and they usually work 6 days a week, if not more. This usually adds up to over 100 hours of overtime in a month. There are benefits such as annual sick leave, maternity leave, and regular leave, but they are not allowed to use this even though the Chinese government requires that they should be. To have laws supporting these benefits, Mattel has been found to withhold these benefits. According to many undercover watchdogs that have gone into the factories to investigate, there have also been reports of suicide by the employees while on the job, such as jumping out of the windows and other sources of suicide. Another big issue has to do with the quality of the toys being manufactured and shipped out. In order to cut costs, Mattel uses the products that are made in China and assembles the toys that they send back to the United States. There have been several recalls for lead-based paint and parts that have come off and led to ingestion incidents by small children. After a very large recall in 2007 for lead-based paint, Mattel upper management claimed that to rectify these issues, they would put in place safety and inspection stations before the toys were sent out. These were in China, so they said, to check all the products used in the manufacturing of the games and toys. However, there have been watchdog reports once again and additional recalls that prove otherwise. One of the latest had to do with the small magnets that were attached to some toys. These small magnets could be connected to one another and ingested by children. If these were swallowed and attached to one another as warned, they could cause major intestinal issues, infection, and even death. Pollution practices in China have also been reported. The undercover investigators who have found these said that such happenings were occurring at Mattel factories for things such as dumping caustic waste into water sources. Also, dirty water was stocked and dumped outside after it started raining. Toxic substances are also being dumped into regular trash cans that were not marked hazardous waste or in any other ways warned that they could be dangerous to someone's health. However, inspectors did not find evidence of these in any of their practices. Downstream areas were affected by the caustic waste dumping and the off-run from the rainstorms. So, what needs to be done about these Mattel substandards? First of all, Mattel needs to take some responsibility. Upper management really needs to go to China. They need to see what is actually happening in their factories. They need to see it for themselves so they know what is going on. Also, there is a need to have a heart. The dollar is not always the bottom line. Profit is important in order to keep a company in business, but a company must be ethical as well. Rules and regulations are in place, but not enforced. The United States government made the deals that have led to this offshore manufacturing. We need an inspection process in place to stop these substandard toys and products from coming into our country. And if that doesn't help, Americans need to be continually made aware of Mattel's practices. We, as consumers, can drive change by refusing their products. As you can see in the toys that my mom was planning to save for her grandchildren to one day play with, as they are cool and we enjoyed playing with them as children, there's the question of their safety and whether it is really safe for them to be played with for my and my sister's children. Things such as my sister's Polly Pocket dolls, which are very small and can easily be ingested, could be a major danger. Also, there's no telling what the paint is on the cars. I don't know if they're lead-based paint or if it was painted with something proper. Modern day games such as the Apples to Apples game, while it currently says it is safe to play with, there have not been any tests or results that have come back so far to say if they're dangerous. So as you can see, you should always wonder what your children are playing with before they actually play with it. Thank you.